The whole Diddy drama was completely turned upside down by Ally Carter. Rumor has it that she recently revealed the precise sum he allegedly attempted to offer her in exchange for her quiet. It wasn't any chump change, I assure you. The amount of hush money involved is so substantial that the majority of people would have taken it and disappeared. But she said no deal, Ally. She's now exposing every dubious dollar and calling him out by name. We're going to reveal the entire bribe, its shady history, and why this could be the final nail in Diddy's already collapsing ship, girl. Now let's explore the chaos. When I tell you, everyone, that Ally Carter didn't, I'm not even kidding, come to play with Diddy. Rumor has it that she revealed a crazy plan in which he supposedly pays bribes and performs his nefarious activities through a number of well-known celebrities. Ally asserts that Diddy was quite deliberate in his use of bribery and did not simply give them out on a daily basis. She claims that instead of being given out directly, the funds are passed through the California Community Church, which is already notorious for dubious activities like membership fees and forced tithes. She claims that a church-affiliated manager named Lou Taylor assisted in transferring the funds. Furthermore, this was not a haphazard decision. Lou possesses a history of handling the money of celebrities. Therefore, Ally thinks that her participation was a part of a deliberate scheme to hide the money and keep things under wraps. Ally had a lot to say as well. She claimed that the California Community Church was a major contributor to the alleged bribery, pointing out that their financial system, which already required members to pay fees and tithes, made it far too simple to move big sums in and out without anybody noticing. According to rumors, the arrangement made the bribe payment appear seamless while concealing its true intent. Additionally, the church's reputation for dubious financial dealings made the situation appear even more chaotic. The Kardashian link followed, and as you are well aware, the Kardashians have a relationship to the church. The church, which is owned by their mother, Kris Jenner, has been embroiled in numerous scandals over the years. Rumor has it that the Kardashians were somewhat aware of Diddy's antics, particularly since Kim unfollowed Diddy on Instagram right before the federal government seized his properties. Additionally, there are now suspicions that Diddy hired Kris Jenner to assist him in compensating his victims, disguising the bribe money as church donations. The church was reportedly not even a house of worship. It was a ruse. According to the streets, it was employed to transfer hush money, enabling Diddy and his associates to compensate witnesses and victims without arousing suspicion or alerting the IRS. The payments were disguised as charitable contributions, making it nearly impossible to track down the true destination of the funds. According to Ally, Lou Taylor and the California Community Church were founded especially to assist influential people in keeping their secrets hidden. But hold on, there's more. Insiders reportedly connected the church structure to a much larger scheme known as tax evasion. According to insiders, the church's financial structure was designed to avoid paying taxes on its enormous payouts in addition to keeping people silent.
24 hours before the raid, Kim Kardashian decides to unfollow Diddy, right? Well, come to find out, this person by the name of Lou Taylor is apparently Diddy's manager. And this Lou Taylor woman is also on the board of Hillsong's church home. Follow me, go with me. They are doing all of this, y'all, in the name of the Lord. Just follow the story. Now, to cover myself, everything in this video is a legend, honey. This is what I digged up, and I don't know how much truth is to it, but there's reportings, okay? So everything that I'm saying is allegedly. Keep that in mind. So, Lou Taylor apparently is paying off, allegedly, some of Diddy's victims from this slush fund through some church fund, okay? Not only that, Kim Kardashian mama has been making these girls pay 10% tithes to some church that Lou Taylor and her husband is basically owner, co-owner, or whatever. So I was like, let me look into this Lou Taylor person. I'm thinking Lou Taylor was a guy who was a woman with a husband, whole husband. And they doing ministry and everything. Now, mind you, y'all remember the whole thing with Britney Spears? So come to find out, Lou Taylor, this gets deep, y'all, hold on. Okay, so Lou Taylor is the CEO of TriStar Sports and Entertainment. She's like a business manager icon. Now, Mike, do y'all know the Lohans? What's the Lindsay Lohan? So she apparently, allegedly, she has been behind most of these stars' conservatorship situations, especially Britney Spears. So before we talk about Britney, Mike Lohan, which is the Lohan girl, Lindsay Lohan's daddy, accused Lou Taylor and the mama Dina Lohan for trying to put Lindsay Lohan in a conservatorship concerning her money. Also, allegedly, there's a lawsuit from 2021 with Astroworld tragedy, and she's being sued for employment discrimination. This is what this Lou lady is. Now, Lou Associates maintain intense control also over Britney Spears' life and money. And she was behind even the conservatorship of why Britney Spears had that conservatorship, because she ended up becoming the business manager and took over the financial pieces of Britney Spears.
The most intriguing part of this situation is that rumors are circulating that Diddy attempted to buy Ali's silence prior to the trial. Before the trial began, Diddy reportedly offered her a bribe in the millions to make her miraculously vanish. It's also reasonable to conclude that Ali wasn't the only one who reportedly received a bribe offer, given that the federal government claimed that one of the key witnesses in the case vanished out of thin air prior to the trial. But hold on, it gets messier. The officials knew what Diddy was up to long before they ever made a move, according to Ali, as if the alleged bribe wasn't crazy enough. This wasn't some quick takedown, she said. The walk was leisurely. The delay also speaks volumes. Not only did Ali blame Diddy and his inner entourage, she criticized the entire legal system, claiming that it contributes to the issue. She even went so far as to accuse the Department of Justice of being directly responsible for the concealment of evidence in Diddy's case. She said that prosecutors played down the videotape of Cassie Ventura's 2001, saying they initially couldn't find it. However, according to Ali, they had it all along and only made some of it public once the media began to press them excessively. This was no innocuous mix-up to her. She thinks that in order to save Diddy's reputation, the DOJ purposefully chose to conceal the tape.
So let's talk about who's guilty here. The DOJ released a video that at first everybody said they couldn't find a video of Cassie Ventura being beaten. They couldn't find it, it didn't exist. You saw one clip, and then you saw DOJ release another clip to the news. So the DOJ had that clip to begin with. So the people who are telling you that they don't have the Epstein file, they're full of shit. What other way do you want me to explain that? They're lying to you. The ones that are telling you Pam Bondi, that she only had a little bit, and they're bullshit. Bullshit. Because they told you the same thing, and now you're seeing it with the Sean Combs case. They told you they just had a little bit of a video, and then it got released. That's on the DOJ. They lied to you. They told you that nothing happened, that this man, Sean Combs, was just this rap mogul that everybody loved. No, he couldn't have hurt nobody. He couldn't have did anything, and then all this stuff came out. Well, he did that. But yeah, he couldn't have did anything else, and then something else came out. Okay, well, maybe he did that too. But he couldn't have did anything else, and then something else comes out. How many people did you hear say, I left a party early? I knew about children being there. I knew about him hell out of females. I knew about the parties going on with multiple people, so it wasn't just Sean Combs. I knew about all of that, but I left early, so guilty. How many people did you hear say about Cassie Ventura that I knew that she was being a I knew that she was wrong. I knew what he was doing, but I'm just now speaking about it. Guilty. Coward. How many maids did it take to clean up a penthouse suite? Know that there was blood and glass everywhere, but they kept their mouth shut because they got paid. Guilty. So we're not talking, let's go back down to the bottom.
Ali was clear about one thing. Diddy wasn't the only person involved. She kept bringing up the fact that similar circumstances have occurred in the past, drawing a comparison to the concealment of the Epstein files to shield influential individuals. There's a distinct pattern in her eyes. Victims are silenced, evidence is buried, and the wealthy escape with no real repercussions. She thinks that the way the DOJ handled Diddy's case is just another instance of how the system shields the powerful, while keeping the rest of the population in the dark. Ali was extremely irritated with the DOJ's handling of the most grave charges. In particular, she criticized New York prosecutors, including Maureen Comey, saying they totally disregarded the claims that minors were involved. She alleges the allegations were never brought forward, despite being a part of the broader case. That seemed deliberate to Ally, as if they were attempting to avoid adding more damning charges. She also discussed her personal role in the case. She claims that she was on the verge of being included on the witness list. However, she was fired once authorities discovered that she intended to discuss Diddy's alleged involvement with kids. She adds that she wasn't alone. She thinks that the removal of several witnesses was done on purpose to keep the most damaging information out of the courtroom and out of the public.
I heard that there was 100 witnesses on the case, and I don't know if they even got through all of those witnesses, but Maureen Comey is the prosecutor of this case, on this case in New York City, and she never asked about the children. And you know, there's so many people who wanted me to be a witness on this trial.
And girl, she didn't stop there. She continued discussing what she considers to be some of Hollywood's darkest secrets. Given the unsettling things we already know about the industry, you can already tell that she's going to reveal some very serious information. She made grave allegations about the abuse of children that takes place behind closed doors. It wasn't a one-time incident either, she said. She became more outspoken when she accused the federal government of knowing about the abuse and doing nothing about it. For a long time, Ally thinks the authorities have had all the information they require, but they choose to ignore it.
If we talk about the children on the Diddy trial, if we actually talk about it, then that opens the door to who else was child protect government funding. That's why we're not touching the children. That's why we're not talking about it. Because that's going to open a can of worms that nobody can cover back up. That's going that shot heard around the world that you can't put the bullet back in that one. You just can't. You can't. You can't. And so many will hear that in a way that you can't unhear it and unsee it. So of course, we're not going to talk about the children. Because if you talk about the children, you're going to talk about that unravels the whole chain of what's really wrong. So, I know some people are like, what the hell? I know, I say the same thing. The hell.
Additionally, she retaliated against anyone who called Diddy's daughters kids. As you may already be aware, if you followed the trial on social media, many people were upset that Diddy's 3 adolescent kids were participating in the proceedings. They often appeared in court to defend their father even though they were not required to testify. This caused a lot of people to feel a certain way, and there was a whole discussion about how they shouldn't have been involved because they were children. Ally, however, presented some compelling arguments when she asserted that Diddy is accused of abusing children younger than his own. All of his older daughters are 18 and will shortly turn 19. Additionally, Ally brought up the fact that Cassie was at this age when Diddy began abusing her. Ally even asserted that Diddy allegedly began abusing her when she was just 15 years old. She therefore believed that Diddy's girls were old enough to learn about their father's character.
Second of all, I was 15 years old. I am now a 31-year-old grown woman. Do you understand what I'm saying? How old am I for everybody that... Can you hear me? How old am I? Can we just interact? I am 31 years old. When this happened, everybody say it with me. I was 15. Are we all on the same page? You get what I'm saying? When this happened to Cassie Ventura, she was 19 years old. Do you understand? Thank you. Everybody like 31. We're here. Okay. I'm a grown woman. So that don't look it. That's called DID. Another story for another day. Okay? But Cassie was 19 on this case. You might have to. And everybody that is ready to free Diddy and be on the side of house, they keep calling Sean Combs' children, his twin daughter and his other daughter, You with me still? Yes? Okay. They keep calling them kids. The twins and the daughter is kids. They don't need to be in the case because they're kids. Cassie Ventura was not called a child. Everybody tore that woman apart because they saw a pregnant grown woman sitting on that trial telling her story that everybody covered up as she was 19 years old. People are addressing Sean Combs' kids as kids, but they won't address Cassie as a kid when this happened to her. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was 15 years old when I had dealings with Sean Combs. She was 19. You get me? Okay? We're not talking about the other children that were on this case. Now, as you guys are saying, I told you, the justice system is rigged. I don't know how many ways people need to say that, see it for themselves, research it, dig on it, and not understand that the justice system is rigged.
Interview. 12 hours, 6 minutes, and 13 seconds, 42. And given that it doesn't appear that Diddy's twins were impacted in the slightest, several people appear to concur with her. They were living their lives to the fullest during the trial, and they weren't afraid to share it on the internet. They attended concerts, went on trips, and made sure we knew that they were having a good time. To be honest, they've been living this way since they were young. However, other fans think it's a little tone-deaf given all that's happening, right? Now, publishing opulent and glamorous content while grave accusations are many. Individuals don't like the way they're circling their father. The timing feels off, especially with the spotlight on what he allegedly did to his victims. In that sense, Ally was somewhat correct. And honestly, this is a big mess between her claims about Diddy buying his way out of the trial and the feds allegedly being in on the whole thing. I suppose it's becoming more apparent how the victims were initially at a disadvantage. However, please share your thoughts in the comments section below and then watch this subsequent video.